Hello everyone and welcome to Anarchy Reigns multiplayer. I am playing with computers because I couldn't find anyone else to play survival mode with me. For me showing off survival mode, we're going to be playing as two characters that aren't available to us in story mode. This time it's Garuda, which if you recall was Durga's sidekick, I suppose you could call him. Garuda is silent but very strong. Even his normal attacks are noticeably better than that of lighter characters. He is also very slow though, even when he turns into a plane. Unlike many other characters, Garuda can move while he's charging up his heavy power attack. This is very useful. Garuda's heavy power attack also hits many times in a row. The thing about survival mode is that there's no reason to settle for the regular power attack ever. Just always using the heavy power attack is the better option.
Round clear. Round 2.
There are reasons it's better to just spam heavy power attacks, and I'll go over them right now. For one, the AI enemies don't dodge you very well. They're kind of programmed to be stupider than human enemies. So they can't do much against your heavy power attacks. They just stand there and take it. Which is a-okay, because if they didn't stand there and take it, survival mode would be much harder. The second reason to spam heavy power attacks is that enemies in survival mode have more health than they do in story mode. Also, just like Big Bull, Garuda can grab 2 enemies. I believe all enormous characters can do this, not large, enormous. When I said the Big Bull was unique, I meant he was unique in story mode. There is one more thing to say about Garuda, and it's that other characters can jump on him while he's in plane mode and ride him around. They can also use him to fire machine gun bullets while they're doing this. So yeah, he performs the same function that he did during that boss fight.
Enemy remaining. Round clear. Round 4.
There are 10 rounds of this, but I'm not going to be showing you all 10. Because that would take a while. Also of note, the mutants have less health here than they do in story mode. A lot of characters have less health than they used to, and some have more. It's all for the sake of balance, though. None of the changes are arbitrary or strange. It is unfortunate that we couldn't find anyone to ride Garuda, but I promise you'll see that eventually. Just not in survival mode, I suppose. Now let's get to what I consider to be the best stage of survival mode.
One enemy remaining. On the verge of being eliminated. 3, 2, 1. Fight.
This time we're playing as Durga, and in direct contrast to Garuda, Durga is very, very fast. Durga has one of my favorite heavy power attacks. It's reasonably long range, not as long range as Sasha's heavy power attack. It can hit 4 enemies if you aim it right. Durga has no problem with these really weak enemies, the kill seekers. For big enemies though, we're going to want to implement a rather specific strategy.
Remaining. Round clear. Round 2.
These aren't big enemies either, so Durga can take them on by himself too. They need 2 heavy power attacks, where Garuda would have killed them with 1. But we still eliminated them really quickly. We can also kill them with a single grab move, just like Garuda could. But that's because grabs are actually really strong. When you charge up a character's normal heavy attack, it turns into a tackle. And I find that Durga's tackle is a lot more useful than most. It's very quick, it hits the enemy multiple times, and you can leave immediately after you use it. For large enemies like this, that's not what we want to do. We want to stay in the back. We either only hit enemies while their backs are turned or while they're distracted by one of our teammates. Staying as far away as possible with Durga is important, and when we do move in, we want to run away after we're done attacking. He's fast enough to get away with that kind of thing. Again, this really only applies to large enemies or any enemy that cannot be easily stunned. With any smaller enemy, usually you can just run up with Durga and smash their faces in. It's kind of weird to have the idea of sniping in a game like this, but yes, stay as far back as you can and either use Durga's heavy power attack or his charged up tackle. This can also apply in the game modes when you fight human enemies if two human characters are fighting each other at the same time. Just stay back and pick off one of them. And then run away really fast when they start chasing you. Now, I'm not going to show you all 10 rounds of this stage either. But I am going to show you the final round because it has something very, very special. I like to call it the final boss of Anarchy Reigns. In spite of these mutants being a lot greener, they're not any stronger than normal Berserker mutants. The same thing applies to them as it does with other strong enemies. We want to stay as far back as possible, and either use Durga's heavy power attack, or his charged up tackle. Now you figure with two computers distracting one mutant, and me taking on one by myself, things would go fine. But they're still getting their shit wrecked. And these things are pretty hard to take on, as was evidenced by Leo's story mode. And I don't see any grenades or rocket launchers lying around. At least this situation can't really get worse, you know? Two Berserker mutants, that's about as tough as you can get. Which is good, because, you know, I'm getting my ass kicked right now. I should be able to survive just by being careful. But there's also that time limit up there, so... We've been working at these guys for a while already, so one of them has to be close to dying. And the computers seem to be doing a lot better as well.
Enemy reinforcements have arrived.
So yeah, this guy, Barbot, is the strongest enemy in all of Anarchy Reigns. The absolute strongest. He has all of the same capabilities of Cyber Joe, and he can shoot flaming shockwaves, which is awesome. But in addition to that, he dodges at minimum 4 of your regular attacks if you attack him head on. The only way to deal damage at first contact is with a power attack. But that's not always a guarantee either, because he's just that fast. You'll see here I run right up to him with burst mode. And I didn't do shit. To take him down, you need yourself and both your AI buddies attacking him at the same time. Unfortunately, when he does get on the offensive, he's very, ruthless. And we won't have our AI buddies for much longer. Thanks to that monstrous attack of his. But, yeah. Barbot. I guess we're doing this alone. Trying to grab him is a really stupid idea also, by the way. It does nothing. And as far as I know, he's virtually impossible to stun. with anything. We finished with a fifth of a second left. A fifth of a second.